Hello, welcome to the series of lectures on English poems. Today I am going to discuss the first sonnet in Sidney's Astrophel and Stella. The sonnet is named Loving in Truth. Before I move on to the detailed analysis of the poem, let us discuss in brief the definition, characteristics and classification of this form of poetry and how this Italian form of art came into England with the help of this slide. From the Italian word sonetto, meaning little song, sonnet is a lyric poem of 14 lines with a special arrangements of rhyme having a single central thought. Sonnets may address a range of issues or themes, but love, the original subject of the sonnet, is perhaps still the most common. The sonnet originated in Italy in the 13th century. Most probably, it was invented by Dante, who wrote a number of sonnets to his lady love Beatrice and brought to perfection by Petrarch, who wrote sonnets in honor of Laura. But it was not introduced in England till the third decade of the 16th century, when English sonnets were first written in imitation of the Italian by Sir Thomas White and the Earl of Surrey. White introduced into English poetry the sonnet, which is the most compact and satisfying of all conventional forms for the short poem. He got from Petrarch not only the sonnet form but also the idealized courtly love attitude which Petrarch manifested towards Laura and which afterwards became the conventional one with the Elizabethan sonnetiers. Two major types of sonnets exist: the Italian or Petrarchan sonnet and the Shakespearean or English sonnet. The Italian sonnet has 14 lines and consists of two parts: the octave, 8 lines with the rhyme scheme A B B A A B B A, and the sestet, 6 line usually rhyming C D E C D E or C D C D C D. The Shakespearean sonnet, which also has 14 lines, is divided into 3 quatrains and a couplet rhyming A B A B, C D C D, E F E F, G G. The Spenserian sonnet, which follows the same basic stanzic form as the Shakespearean sonnet, consists of 3 quatrains rhyming A B A B, B C B C, C D C D to link the quatrains together and a couplet rhyming E E. In all these forms of sonnets, volta occupies a very significant place. Volta means turning. It is the line from which the thought of the poem changes into a different direction. In a Petrarchan sonnet, the volta generally appears at the 9th line, after the end of the octave and at the beginning of the sestet. The octave generally presents the problem and the sestet presents the solution of that problem, and volta is the point from where the thought moves from the problems to the solution. In case of the English sonnet or Shakespearean sonnet, the volta appears sometimes at the 9th line or sometimes at the beginning of the concluding couplet. The collection Astrophel and Stella is the first sonnet sequence in English. It is a collection of 108 sonnets and 11 songs composed by Philip Sidney during 1581 to 83, and the collection was published in the year 1591. Following the Petrarchan tradition of love poems, where Petrarch expressed his love for his beloved Laura, Sidney expressed his love through these sonnets to Penelope Devereux, the daughter of Earl of Essex, to whom he was engaged with, but ultimately she was married off to one Lord Rich by her father. So a kind of unrequited love is expressed in these sonnet sequence. The title of the collection is very important: Astrophel and Stella. Stella in Roman refers to the star, whereas Astrophel in Greek refers to a star lover or stargazer. So that in the title, Astrophel is the poet himself, Sidney, whereas Stella is the beloved, Penelope. So a star is the beloved, whereas the lover is the star lover or stargazer. So the distance between the beloved and the lover is also very clear in the title, and the difference that we find in the courtly tradition of love poetry, where the lover every time woos the beloved and the beloved is very much reluctant to reciprocate the love of the lover, is very much clear or very much indicated in the title, and the difference between the star and the stargazer. The stargazer never finds itself very easy to find the star. It also indicates that how the lover looks at, or how the lover considers the beloved, how precious the beloved is to the lover. The 14 lines of the poem is divided into two parts. The first octave, the first 8 lines, talks about the problems, how to express the love for the beloved, how to show his love towards the lady, how to express how much he is in love with the lady, and what kind of pain that love is giving to the lover. And the next 6 line talks about that solution, how to express that love. Okay. In the first 8 line, we find that the lover is actually, roaming about, turning on pages of other poets to find a fit word to express his love, so that the beloved can know about the anxiety, beloved can know about the condition of the mind of the lover. But the phrases and words of other poets seems not appropriate for the lover. In the next section, that is the sestet, in the second part of the poem, we find a solution where the muse appears and asks or directs the poet to look into his own heart and to express his own mind. Okay. If we go through the poem, we find that one of the essential features is that as I have told before, sonnet in England was actually brought by Thomas White and Earl of Surrey. And we find that the Petrarchan tradition of love poetry was changed very much in the hands of William Shakespeare, the most original of the sonnet writers. Sidney somehow stands between these two traditions of sonnets and he was actually working as a bridge between these two. In traditionally, the sonnet was written in iambic pentameter, but here we find that Sidney uses hexameters, okay, in place of pentameter lines. And again, in traditional sonnets of Petrarch, the rhyme scheme of the octave is ABBA ABBA. In case of Sidney, we find it is AB 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 AB. This is again a deviation from the Petrarchan tradition. And if you look into the sestet, the rhyme scheme that Sidney uses here is CD CD E E. So the last two lines are rhyming with each other. So it also indicates, or rather leads us to the rhyming couplet of Shakespearean sonnets. Okay, so this is how Sidney's sonnet stands between these two traditions of sonnet writing, the Italian sonnet and the English sonnet, and works as a bridge between these two. In case of thematic patterns, we also find that it is also stands midway between these two traditions of love poems that I'll be discussing later on. Loving in truth and fain in words my love to show. So loving in truth refers to that I am truly in love with my beloved, and fain in words, and very much desirous to express my love, to show that love in words through poetry. So poetry is a medium through which I can express my emotions, I can express my feelings, I can express my love towards my beloved. That she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. The most important thing, she and then dear she within the parenthesis. It is an expression of emotion. It is a release of pain or emotion that's giving a pleasure. That she, dear she, might, the word might is very important, that a possibility is there. It's not sure that that poetry will give her a pleasure, okay, but that she, dear she, might take some pleasure of my pain. So the pain refers here firstly to the pains of love, and secondly the pains of writing poetry. Okay. Pleasure might cause her read, reading might make her know. So from pleasure he will move on to read the poem, and when she will read the poem, she will know about the condition of the lover. Knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. Grace refers to a kind of unmerited favor. So when he will know about my condition, how much I am in pain for her, then from that pain, from that knowledge, a kind of pity can come, and from that pity a grace can be obtained. So grace is the ultimate thing of which the poet is actually expressing his love. Now here we find a kind of a climactic order, and the phrase is here: pleasure might make her read, reading might make her know, knowledge might pity win, and pity grace obtain. A kind of ascending order of importance, a climactic order is told in these two lines. I sought fit words, so appropriate words, okay, adequate word to express the condition, okay, a kind of objective correlative. I sought fit words to paint the blackest face of woe. I was actually searching for an apt, adequate verbal expression to express the blackest face of woe. Here woe is personified as if having a blackest face. Studying inventions fine. Inventions refers to poetic creations. So for that, in order to find the fit words, the appropriate words, I was studying inventions find. I was reading, I was going through the poetic creations of many poets, fine poetic creations. Her wits to entertain. What was my object? My object was to entertain her wits so that she can get some pleasure, and from that pleasure he will advance to read the poem, and when he will read the poem, from that reading he will gain some knowledge of my condition, and from that knowledge pity will come, and pity will lead to grace. Of turning others' leaves. So often I was turning others' leaves. So leaves here refers to the pages. Okay. To see if then should flow some fresh and fruitful showers upon my sunburned brain. So sunburned brain refers to the heat oppressed brain, the brains which is unable to produce any kind of poetic creations. So this octave tells us about the problem. Poet wants to express his love towards the beloved, and for that he was not finding fit words, and in order to find fit words he turns on the leaves and the or pages of other works. But so this is volta, the line where a poetry turns from a different direction. Okay. But words come halting forth. But when I was going through the works of other poets, the words are not coming smoothly. Okay. The words came halting forth, wanting inventions stay, as these words don't have the inventions stay, or rather these are not the creation by the exercise of imaginative power, so it was not coming smoothly. Okay. It was coming halting forth. Invention, nature's child. So invention is personified here. So the imaginative power, it is something which comes automatically. Nature's child. Fled step dame, studies blows. Studies blows refers to that poetic impulse flies at the touch of the effort to imitate others. So when we imitate others, our own poetic impulses, they never come smoothly. Okay. So invention, nature's child. So invention is here personified. Imagination is here personified. That imagination is something which comes automatically if we try to take it from others by reading others' works. So it never comes automatically, it never comes smoothly. And others fit. So here is a pun. Fit refers to the the foot of poems actually, and it also refers to the other works actually, other fit. The others fit still seemed but strangers in my way. So the others feet are strangers in my way. So others words, others expression, though it's very ornamented, though it's very beautiful, but it is not adequately expressing my own condition, and thus it seems strangers to my mind, strangers in my path. Thus great with child to speak and helpless in my thoughts. Thoughts refers to the labor pain. So the poet is filled with emotions, but the emotions are not getting any outlet to come out. Okay. So that is that particular condition when one is filled with emotions and passion, but he is not getting any outlet to express it, is compared to the labor pain. Beating my torrent paint, beating myself for spite. So here is again a pun is used. Beating my torrent paint, I was beating my pen, which has become torrent. Torrent refers to a child who is not abiding by the rules of the schools. Okay, who is playing a torrent. beating my Turan pen. The pen is called Turan because the pen is actually unable to write what the mind actually feels. Okay, so that's why I'm beating my Turan pen, beating my pen, because the pen is not actually following what my heart is saying. Okay, beating my Turan pen, beating myself for spite. Spite refers to anger, and I was beating my head in anger. Fool, said my muse to me. At that time, muse came, the goddesses of poetry came and said, fool, look in the heart and write. So this is the epiphanic moment. This is the discovery that I should not follow others' words. Rather, in order to express my love, I need to look into my own heart and express my heart in my own words. So thematically, as at the very beginning I was saying that thematically the poem is not exactly following the patriarchal tradition, though the love that the poem treats is a courtly love where there is a distance between the beloved and the lover, but the poem is not exclusively about love. The poem also talks about how to write a poetry. So in order to write poetry, we need not follow others. We need to look into our own heart and express our own mind. If you have any kind of questions, queries, observations, agreement, disagreements, feel free to express that in the comment box. Thank you very much for watching the video.